Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are sharing a beloved classic Canadian dessert recipe, butter tarts. Butter tarts are simple but delicious dessert that is made with just few ingredients. They are typically made with a shortbread crust and a creamy filling of butter, eggs, sugar, and our Canadian staple, maple syrup. In this video, we will show you how to make butter tarts from scratch. And we will also share some tips on how to make the perfect butter tart. So stay tuned because this is going to be a fun one. Let's begin by making our crusty tart shell. Combine in the mixing bowl 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, add half teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Now just give it a quick mix with the whisk. Add 1 cup of cold, unsalted butter that has been cut into small cubes. The cold butter helps to create a flaky and tender crust. Use a pastry cutter to cut in until it becomes crumbly. You can also use a food processor to speed up the process by pulsing it several times. Next, beat 1 cold egg. The egg acts as a binder agent, helping to hold the flour and the butter together, resulting in a more cohesive dough. Add 1 teaspoon of white vinegar, which helps to prevent the sugar from crystallizing. Next, gradually add 1 tablespoon of cold water at a time until the dough comes together. Again, we want the dough to stay cold by using cold water to make the tart shell nice and flaky. Let's work the dough with your hands until it comes together in a round shape. Also, you don't want to overwork the dough too much. Place the dough on a flat surface and shape it into a log. Divide the dough into 2 equal portions and wrap each half in a plastic wrap. Then, refrigerate the dough for 1 hour. Ready to shape our tarts? Let's start with half of the dough. Remove the plastic wrap and sprinkle a bit of flour on a clean, flat surface. Now divide the dough into 6 pieces. Working with 1 piece at a time, roll out the dough with a rolling pin into a 4-inch circle. To make a perfect circle, use a 4-inch cookie cutter or the edge of a circular container to trim the excess dough with a knife. Press the dough circle into a lightly greased muffin tin to form a tart shell. And repeat the process with the rest of the dough pieces. Finally, chill it in a freezer for 15 minutes and preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Creating the rich and the gooey butter tart filling is a simple process. First, pour half cup of melted unsalted butter in a mixing bowl. Next, add half cup of light or dark brown sugar, or 2/3 cup of pure Canadian maple syrup, and just give it a quick whisk. Crack 2 large room temperature eggs into a bowl and whisk them together. The eggs act as a binder agent and add richness to the filling. Next, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then grate 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg for that nutty and earthy flavor. Whisk it until well combined. To make pouring easier, transfer the filling to a measuring cup. Take the tart shells from the freezer, then add your favorite filling. For our tarts, we will use dried currants. For a bit of crunch, we will add a mix of walnuts and pecans. Carefully pour the filling into each tart shell, filling them almost to the top. Start baking at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes, then lower the temperature to 350 degrees and bake for additional 20 to 25 minutes. Your butter tarts are ready. Allow them to cool completely before serving. These tarts have a buttery and flaky crust that provides a crisp contrast to the gooey caramel-like filling. It is decadent and satisfying dessert that captures the essence of Canadian comfort food. Well, that's a wrap on our butter tart adventure. Don't forget to tag us in your creations and let us know how they turn out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quick, easy, and delicious recipes.